Hi, in this video I'm going to share 4 tips for how you can prepare for a speaking exam. These tips are not specific to an exam, so you can use this if you're working for IELTS or CAE or any other speaking exam. So tip number 1 is to separate practicing fluency and practicing accuracy. So an example of fluency practice is getting together with a buddy, a speaking buddy, and practicing a whole exam from start to finish. That's fluency practice. An example of accuracy practice is working on language for speculation in CAE Part 2. That's when you want to practice your accuracy. Now, these things are not the same. Usually, when people focus on accuracy, they are going to drop a little bit in fluency. Usually, when people are working on their fluency, interesting, the accuracy doesn't drop quite as much. But you really need those times of practicing accuracy to get that language embedded into your language system, so that when you do the fluency practice, it's already there. You can't do both at the same time. Separate them. Tip number 2 is to differentiate between practicing a whole complete exam and working on the different parts of the exam. Now, working for an exam like CAE, it's kind of like practicing for a marathon, training for a marathon, because it's a long time that you have to study and work and work. Now, if you are going to run a marathon, your training is not made up of running marathons. Your training is made of doing maybe some weights, eating healthily, doing longer runs, shorter runs, walking up hills. But basically, the training method is not the same as the end final goal. And when you're working for a speaking exam, it's very similar. You don't want to just practice speaking exams all the time. Sometimes you have to really dig into the individual parts of the exam and really work on them, and really work on the language that you need for each of those parts. And when all the parts of your exam are feeling okay, then you can put them together, see how they work as a whole. So separate out working on the complete exam, having a go through, and really digging into the individual parts. Now, the next tip, tip number 3, is to do exam speaking practice little and often. You don't need to do 4 hours of speaking practice every single day, but you do need to do some speaking practice most days. And that could be as little as making one voice recording for 2 minutes or 3 minutes. If you can commit to making a voice recording of part of your speaking exam every day for a month, over time, that's a lot of practice. Okay, now we've all got smartphones. Use them. Use that voice recording feature. Record yourself, listen to yourself, and do it as often as you can, even if it's just for a few minutes. And tip number 4, the final tip, connected to making voice recordings, is to learn to give yourself objective feedback. Now, most students, when I do a speaking task with them and I say, hey, what did you think of that? They go, oh, it was awful. I was terrible. My grammar was dreadful. I didn't use any advanced structures. I didn't use any idioms. My pronunciation was... That's the kind of response I usually get from people. So I have to kind of train my students not to respond to their own speaking like that, because how does that help anybody? It doesn't help. So the first thing you should do when you listen to your voice recording is to ask yourself, what went well? And look for something that went well. And then ask the same question again. What else went well? Look for something else. And then ask the same question again. What else went well? And find 3 things in your speaking that you can be proud of, whatever they are. And then look for 1 or 2 things, concrete things, to improve next time. Saying things like, oh, my grammar is so bad, it doesn't help you. Saying things like, well, okay, I was trying to talk about the past. I could have used a wider variety of past tenses. That will help you because it's specific. And then the next time you make a voice recording, you've got something to work on. So there you go. 4 tips for practicing for speaking exams. If you would like to read about this, please click the link below. That will take you to a post on my Facebook page, which is all about preparing for speaking exams. My name is Sarah. I'm an English teacher and language anxiety coach. I help people overcome their fear of speaking and using English. Thank you for watching.